there.
Hi. Wait. You know I talk too much. Hey guys.
Hey.
What's up, YouTube? Out here just on our way to the District of Columbia, you know, the DNC.
DNC.
Whoa.
Wow. Wow.
Wowzers. Oh.
It's a good sized buck. Yeah. We could get some real meat out of that.
Wait.
Some kielbasa.
Oh.
Venison.
Oh my god.
Honestly, I mean, why not?
So poor car. We hit a deer. Now it's crinkled. Yes.
Well, we were going 80 and a 30.
At this point in the video, I think it's time that I provide a little bit of context. Long story short, we are on our way to DC, and it's supposed to be a 3-hour drive. We do not get there until 2 a.m. And here's the course of events as to why it took us 12 hours to get to DC that's only 3 hours away from Lynchburg. We have to take 2 cars in order to get to DC because we have 6 people, and Spencer's car only holds 5 people. So we decided we would go get Josh's car, which was in the shop. Josh and I ride in his Mini Cooper together, and everyone else is in Spencer's car. Less than an hour into the trip, and lo and behold, we have a collision with a deer. I saw the deer on the side of the road, but I didn't say anything. Why I didn't say anything? I don't know. I just saw a deer and I was like, oh, pretty deer, and I just didn't think to tell Josh anything. Okay, so we hit the deer. Moving on. Next thing. It takes a very, very long time for everything to get worked out. He's on the phone with insurance. We're trying to get the cops to come, a tow truck, all that kind of jazz. So we're all waiting, sitting in Spencer's car. Meanwhile, Spencer's playing music in the car and has his hazards on. But the car is not running. His car dies on the side of the road as we're waiting for the cops and the tow truck and all of that. We have to jump start his car with the tow truck as soon as the tow truck gets there so that way we can have a car in order to go. Alright, how do we get to the rental car place because we only have 5 seats in this car? Legally, we're only allowed to have 5 people in the car, and we could squeeze someone in if we wanted to, but literally the cop's right there. So we asked the cop, we're like, so can you give us a ride somewhere? And he says, well, I'm driving the other direction, and so I won't see you guys. And basically just gave us permission to pile in 6 people into this 5-passenger car. We put in the address for what we thought was going to be the rental place, and we're on our way, and we're driving, and it's taking us about an hour out of our way. Don't know why we didn't think about this earlier, but we're driving down these roads, and it's in like the middle of nowhere. You barely see any houses. It's not a highway. It doesn't even have like any road signs or anything. It's just literally like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just, you knew you're in the boondocks. As we're driving to what we thought was going to be the rental place, what do we see? A deer. We see another deer jump out in front of Spencer's car. Now, this deer doesn't just jump out and then jump out of the way. It literally stands in front of his car and then trots like in front of it. Like, he just keeps walking in front of the car. Spencer, honk at the deer. And he's like, no, I don't want to honk at it. And we're like, Spencer, you need to honk at the deer so it'll get away. So the deer starts to move off the edge, and it moves off the edge just the tiniest bit, and Spencer guns it. Spencer, stop! No, you cannot gun it with the deer right there, and it runs back in front of the car. At this point, the deer is back in front of the car. He had just gunned it, and Riley reaches over and slams on the horn, and he slams on the brakes. And then finally the deer runs up into the woods and gets out of our way. That was our second deer encounter for the night. We finally get to the point where the GPS is telling us that we're about to get to the rental car place. The very last instructions, I kid you not, it tells us to do is to turn right onto railroad tracks. What? This is obviously not where we need to be. It's a dirt road, railroad tracks. At this point, we realized we need to turn around and make our way back to the highway. Now, that would be all fine and dandy, except we lose service. This is how far out in the middle of nowhere we are, that we don't have any phone service. So Riley and Spencer are trying to remember how to get back to the highway. About halfway back, Connor is in the far back so that way we didn't have to cram everyone up front, and he starts getting sick. So finally we pull over so that way Emily and Connor can switch seats because he was getting too sick in the far back. He was getting car sick. Less than a minute after they switch, Emily goes, "Connor, I know why you're getting sick." So she climbs over the back seats and comes and lays in our lap so that way she doesn't get sick in the far back. We finally make it back to the highway and we now have service and everyone has to pee. Emily even debated going pee on the side of the road, but we couldn't find anywhere. As soon as she made the decision that she really had to pee, that's exactly when we started seeing houses, but there still weren't any gas stations. We finally find this gas station, and it's literally the sketchiest gas station I've ever seen. There was a whole bunch of guys standing on the outside of it, and the inside was the weirdest setup. I've never seen a gas station like this one. So Riley, Emily, and I, we all go to the bathroom together because we're not trying to get, I don't know, kidnapped. Who knows what would happen. But we decide to use the restroom because obviously we have to, so we're going to do that. And we pick up some Dramamine and some Tums for Connor since he was not feeling so well from the car, and that was a windy road and all of that mess. It's probably about 10 p.m. at this point. Where is this rental car place? We have Riley, Emily, and Josh all trying to figure out where it is, and they can't decide which one it actually is. Finally, we find one that's open till 1 a.m. at the Charlottesville airport. That's about 40 minutes away. Get to the airport. At this point, everyone's exhausted, and we're just praying and hoping that we can at least get a rental car. So Josh goes in. You can't rent out a rental car unless you're 21. Except insurance should have given him a number that would have given him permission to rent out a car since he was in an accident and insurance and stuff, all that. Well, insurance makes a mistake. They never gave him the number and they accidentally checked marked no instead of yes in order to get him a rental car. We need someone who's 21 to rent us out a car. Spencer is 21. We'll just have Spencer rent out the car and someone else will drive Spencer's car. But we're gonna do that. You have to have a credit card that's under the person who's 21's name. Connor is the only one with a credit card, but he's not 21, so we can't get a rental car. Worst situation ever. There's just no way we're gonna get this rental car. Left Liberty at 3 p.m. It's now around 10:30, 11, and we are starving. We haven't eaten since we left. Before we make any more decisions, we need food. So we go to a McDonald's and we sit there and we debate for a good hour about what we're going to do next. So are we either going to go back to college, to Liberty, and get Connor's car and then drive back up to Washington, D.C. that night? Or are we going to go back, sleep, get up early, and then go back in the morning? Or we just kept debating about what to do. Finally, we ended up leaving Connor behind, and he ended up not coming on the Washington, D.C. trip with us, and it was just Josh, Emily, Spencer, and I, since there was 5 seats, and Connor decided not to come, and it was the saddest thing ever. We all cried because we wanted Connor to come so bad, but that was the solution, and he sacrificed for us, and honestly, one of the greatest people ever. That was, I don't know, so sad. At this point, Riley decides to drive the car because Spencer has been driving for a very long time and he has been through enough. So Riley drives us all to DC. Emily, Josh, and I just fall asleep in the back seat and we wake up at 2 a.m. in Washington, D.C. and that is how we got there. 3-hour trip turned to 12 and we lost one on the way. How do you guys feel that we're actually in DC now?
I'm so happy. Let's freaking go.
We're all eggs because it's raining. Egg. He said penguins have feathers? It's a bird. Yay! I got food. And I'm excited and I'm happy, and it's really cold and rainy. Yum!